and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, Shimboners. On today's pod, we will be previewing a huge game this coming Saturday against the Blues at the MCG, the home of footy. To help me get through it and provide some analysis, we've got the big chief, the man himself. Chieftain, how are we?
Yeah, very good, thanks, Baz, and looking forward to a win this Saturday.
Well, we very much hope so, and it's been a bit of a trouble for us to get here to start recording with work call-outs and everything happening, but we're here. We're happy to be speaking to our loyal Shimboner listeners, and let's get into this weekend's clash. And I just want to start by saying it's such an important day for the club because we've had a 6 to 7 week stretch where we've played some really good football. We've only had that one loss more than 10 points, which was to Collingwood, where we'll ride in that at three-quarter time, Clarko, to use a Clarkoism. Yes. But I think it's so important that we consolidate that form and don't just have a nice stretch of honourable losses. Come Saturday, an undermanned Carlton, we just have to win.
Yep, I agree. They're right for the taking, so let's take them.
And let's just have a look at their side and some of the players they're missing. Harry Mackay, obviously out. Sam Walsh is out with turf toe, which, for any long-term listeners, they would know that last year when our man Colby was out with a foot injury.
He had a hot spot in his foot.
Hot spot. And then you started talking about turf toe, and let's just say you might have...
I wish I was talking about turf toe. You might have mentioned some other toe.
Might have been an animal that was dropped before toe.
The desert horse.
I thought I was doing a pod with Stifler for a moment there. Would you just dropping that? But anyway...
Well, for those who might have missed it, I'll own up. I misdiagnosed turf toe and said camel toe, which we don't wish on Colby at the time.
And thankfully he hasn't had it since. But let's get into have a look at our injury list. So we're actually recording after the teams have been announced. So Charlie Combin's back, which is a huge boost for our side to have him back in the starting 22.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's he go to?
Oh, that's a good question. I think probably Kerno.
I haven't seen the teams yet, so you're ahead of me. I have not looked at the teams, but you did text me that Chom's back. I reckon Logue to Kerno, and I'm assuming they've got a young or... Have they got that debutant in? Who's their next tall forward?
Well, let's have a look at the team.
Oh, let's go through them. That'll make more sense.
So Charlie Combin's come in for Cal Dawson, who's been omitted, which...
surprises no one.
Exactly. And then for Carlton, they've only made the solitary change. So Hudson O'Keefe, the young second ruck, is out for them, and they've brought in Mark Pittonet.
Ah. Trying to double team my man again, are they?
Yeah, that
won't worry him. That won't worry my man X.
Of course it won't.
He'll take all of them on.
And it's just further proof that he is the number one ruck, that the teams are bringing in two to try and combat him.
Once again, Pittonet will be there to wrestle him and try and wear him out and slow him down, and TDK will try and jump over him. And TDK is a good ruckman, to be fair, but you've got to keep an arm's length from X, because last time they played each other in the second match last year, X broke his foot or something.
Yeah, it was a bit rough. He had a big
that's right. They all sucked about it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too rough, the big X-man. Suck it up, princess.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think Logue will probably go to Kerno, because our man Chom will have to go to TDK when he's playing forward, which he will for large parts of the game, I imagine.
Yeah, who's their next tall? I haven't got the team in front of me. Forward. Permanent forward. You think they're going to play TDK permanent forward?
Well, they've got Mitch McGovern.
Oh, of course. That's McGovern.
Yeah.
McGovern.
Yes, yeah. So he'll get probably the Pink Pony Club will line up on him.
Yes.
Toby Pink, I reckon.
Yep.
We've gone a bit off topic here, but I want to talk about our injury list. So it's great to see him back. Jackson Archer, another week in the twos, which is probably a good call after only playing 3 quarters in the VFL last week. I know you wouldn't be happy about that, but...
No, I still haven't. I don't think we've had them all play together since it's gone to 5.
Have who? You got to explain it.
The CCC. I don't think they've all played together since it's been a 5-man band.
It'll be a monumentous occasion when it does happen. But let's have a look at the other injury list. So Aiden Core, 3 weeks away. Eddie Ford, 3 to 4 weeks, which I love Eddie, but I think that might spell time on his career at North Melbourne, out of contract. And just because we've got so many list spots.
Yeah, and I did hear, I think it was your man Cow Toomey on Gettable, said that we're losing them.
the 2 extra rookie spots, yeah.
So there's 2 extra people who've got to cut at the end of the year.
And just for those out there...
So that's going to make it hard for your Cooper Harveys and your Elvises.
For those out there who might not know, I didn't know this till I watched Gettable, so Zach Banch and Cooper Trembath, they're both only on 6-month contracts as well.
Well, I knew that.
Well, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, you should have asked me. I could have told you. Most of the rookies are 6 months, but they can nominate for 18 months. The mid-season.
Well, I understand
the mid-season draft people I'm talking about.
But I didn't see where it was written that it was only 6 months.
No, I think it's just standard 6 months unless they nominate the extra. But I mean, obviously it's got to be reported and maybe they missed it. But I just assume they're 6 months unless I hear otherwise.
And just touching back on the injury list again, Josh Goda still that pesty 3 to 4 weeks away, and I'm still going to go strong. I think just wrap him up for the year, get him primed and ready for pre-season.
Yeah, they've still got, 10, 11 weeks to go. The VFL will definitely should definitely play finals. But good luck telling a footballer to go in Cotton Wool.
Yeah,
he's trained, he's rehabbed.
He's been 3 to 4 weeks away
look at CCJ.
10 weeks.
CCJ's now up and playing pretty good footy in the 2s.
10 weeks he's been 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, maybe Kevin the Irishman has trouble with numbers.
Anything else on that before we move on?
No, move on.
So I wanted to have a look at trade targets, because usually this time of year, all your Gettables, your tradies, all those podcasts, it's the big story, and every year we seem to be linked to a number of players. But as we were speaking about off air, it's only been really Braden Maynard so far.
Yeah, I'm not overly disappointed we didn't get him.
I am actually really happy we didn't get him, especially on the coin and the
that's
tenure.
it. Yeah, I think it was too long, and they're talking 6 years. He's about 29, isn't he?
Just turned 28, I think. So,
yeah, okay. Well, 6 years takes him to his 35th year. Not good enough. And not too long.
Interesting that Cow Toomey reckons that Bailey Scott might be pushed out at season's end as well. Just going back to that list spot discussion.
Contracted? Believe he's contracted.
Only re-signed last year.
Yeah, for 2 years. So, thank God that wasn't 5. But we wish him the best, and we hope he forces his way back in. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's given away for peanuts.
So I went and had a look through the players out of contract at the end of this year.
You've done some real deep diving.
I have, and I will preface this by
We are
saying...
previewing a game this weekend too.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay.
I will preface this by saying I haven't picked any mids that are like 180 that are good players. I've picked purely for what we need. So no ruckman either.
Yep, okay.
So I've had a look.
I think we could probably do with a backup ruckman.
Yeah, but...
You need 3 on your list, and it depends if we keep big tests.
Yeah, but you're not going to... Out of contract ruckman, I'm talking about the stars of the game.
Yep.
So I think target number one, and put a big circle around him, has to be Lee Kalir.
Yeah, okay.
From the Giants. We all know what he's can do. He's playing senior footy at the moment, but he's a serious talent, former first-round draft pick. Key defender for those playing at home who might not have seen him. Incredible aerial presence as well. He's like Mac Andrew, but a better defender, I think. Whether he can be the same interceptor as Mac, but I think he's a better one-on-one defender. So he'd be one I'd have a look at. And Miles Bergman.
Yep.
We could use him off half-back. He probably won't come to us if he was to come to Victoria anyway, but I thought I'd just raise him. And then, of course, there's always the conversation about experienced players. I've heard a lot about Jeremy Howe. No thanks. I mean, he's a good player, but I don't think he's got enough footy left. Could we have a look at someone like a Jamie Elliott?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't see why he'd
But
go...
we've got a lot of his type, haven't we? Those medium to small forwards.
But the biggest take...
But I've always liked Elliott. I don't like a lot of players from other... A bit like you like your little Toby from GWS. He's just always had a good skill set, but he's in his 30s, and there's no way he's going. So
no, and most of the contracted players that are semi-good are mostly from Collingwood that haven't been re-signed, like your Mychecks and co. But another one who hasn't got a deal yet that might be worth having a look at in terms of key defensive stocks is Jack Silvani. He's having a really good year.
Yeah.
Could you go to him and offer him a 4-year deal? I think he's 27.
Well, if he plays well this weekend, Brady will offer him a 10-year deal, I reckon, because that tends to happen. If you play well against the opposition, they come with a big contract. But yeah, he's pretty versatile, and he's having probably his best year ever playing as a smaller key defender.
Yeah, because he's 194, but he's got the agility to go with any size, really.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully he has a mare on the weekend.
Oh, of course. And this is obviously nothing's been reported, but it was an interesting little look through the out of contract players that I thought, because we haven't been linked to anyone outside of Maynard that I'm aware of.
No, I'm surprised we're not linked to Leaker.
Yeah,
all we hear about is St Kilda, really, and the Butters and not that you mentioned him, but everyone else from Port Adelaide seems to be St Kilda or Geelong, or everyone gets linked to Geelong because apparently good lifestyle down there, and you can
get a couple of farms. But it's maddening. It's ridiculous that we're here offering 5-year deals to Zach Fisher. No disrespect to the fish. And then we've got people like Leaker that we know of. There's been no...
Yeah, and we're screaming out for key position players. We've got a couple in the last couple of drafts, but it would be nice to get a mid-20-year-old typers right in the hot spot to have a good career, to peak in their career.
Yeah. We'll move on. We've just got one listener question that struck my eye that sent through. So Andy David has sent this in, Chief, for a conversation between the two of us. He said, love the pod, boys. Question for you. I know he's a swagger man, but is Zurhaar a sneaky chance for the CCC after his consistent hard efforts this year, particularly getting battered in the Freo game and also playing with a swollen foot against Richmond?
That's absolute CCC stuff. What he's just mentioned. Unfortunately, you've got to show it from day one, and I don't think Cam has managed to do that. There's sometimes he's been maybe a little bit disinterested or not quite running at 100%. And CCC, it's in your nature.
Well, let's just say, let's clarify this. You're talking about chasing at 100%. He's always gone at the footy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 100% effort in every aspect of the game. And if you look at who's in there, you can see it from them the whole time.
Yeah, and guess what? Even if you wanted him, you're not. He's my man.
Well, I knew you'd put him up a fight for him, but that doesn't worry me.
You'd have to trade about 15 future first to try and get your hands on him.
No, but in all seriousness, he's really shown some... competitive qualities this year, hasn't he? Particularly, he's shown it throughout his career, but you've got to do it. It's like Jacko Archer, like it's just in your blood, and it's like all of them who are in my prestigious CCC, Chiefs Competitors Club, for those new to the podcast.
Right, let's move on from that. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, it was a good question, wasn't it? Got us thinking.
It did. Thought-provoking. So usually this is the time of the pod where we go into detail about the last time we met. Nobody wants to think about that again.
Can I just say something on that? Good Friday, in our preview pod, I said it's the biggest game we have for the year because we're not playing finals. And I wanted all our players to treat it like a final. Well, thank the Lord, it wasn't a final because we got smashed. And not good enough. I wanted to see who was going to stand up under the pressure of the Friday night spotlight or Friday afternoon, Good Friday spotlight.
I'll tell you who did.
My man?
G. Wardlaw, and that was about it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I can't remember the best he votes, but we were smashed and it was horrendous. And it happens every year, pretty much, in the Good Friday game. So for this week, I want to see them make amends.
I want to see them go out and absolutely go ballistic at the man and the ball. Like the same pressure that... we brought against Freo, but there should be a level of embarrassment attached to the playing group. These guys completely embarrassed us and put up 150 on us.
Yep.
And that hunt and desire has to be there.
Yep.
But to change it up this week, I thought I'd have a look at the last time we beat Carlton.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Let's bring the pot up a bit.
Bring it up a bit, because it's been a bit negative to start, but... So the last time we beat Carlton was round 19, 2021, and our best that day, Chief, we had Larky kick 7.
Yep.
Taron Thomas had 23 and 4 goals. And I think that was his first game back or something too. Like I think he'd missed through injury or something from memory. Jaden Stevenson, another one not at the club, he had 24 disposals and kicked 3.
Yep.
And my all-time favourite Shinbone had a lazy 27 and 10 clearances, Ben Cunnington.
Yes. Well, yeah, I've only got one left of those you mentioned.
Yeah, who was out of form until probably the second half last week.
Second half last week he showed a bit, didn't he?
Yeah. But
I liked his competitiveness the whole game last week. From the first quarter, he was more about chasing and harassing and bringing the ball to ground and just trying his best. And that's what we're looking for all the time from every player.
100%. And I did my team changes earlier, and I had Chom coming in for Dawson, but I thought they might go with Geordie Payne instead of Jacob Constanti, but they haven't.
Yep.
But the big thing I want to see is Robbie Hanson Jr. has to play the full game. Now, I've had a look at not the extended bench, sorry, just the bench, and he's on there, Fisher's on there, and Constanti's on there. So I'd like to see Fisher move to the sub. Yep. I think he's good. I think he goes in and out of games too much and isn't effective enough with ball in hand compared to a Hanson Jr. So, and then Constanti, he brings that pressure for 4 quarters. So I think Fisher probably moves to the sub. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, don't mind it.
And then with Carlton as well, just the one change for them. So, but I reckon there's a big test on Charlie. He didn't train
in their
great
emergencies.
Deal. I'll get that up as you're speaking here, but
You can go through ours. There's more a North pod, but
they got Lewis Young.
Yeah, he'll come in, I reckon. Who else have they got? Any other tools?
No, got Will White, your man.
He kicked the bag last time they played. Never heard of him.
So our emergencies: Zane Dersma, Will Dawson, and Coop.
Yeah, okay.
So all 3 banging on the door to get back in the side.
Yeah, Zane kicked 3 in the VFL last week. So, yeah, I haven't given up on him.
I don't think anyone has.
No, well, okay, fair enough. I did pick him to be the breakout star of the year in our crystal ball, but he hasn't quite got to that level. But just develop in the 2s and maybe next year. Maybe get a game late this year.
Yeah.
But he's obviously getting closer. He hasn't been named emergency for a while.
No, not from memory. Let's have a look at the matchup. So, as Clarko loves to say, it all starts in the middle. Big test for X going against TDK, who's so good, and then Pitnet, who's just your bruiser as well. But I'm backing him in. He just beat TDK last time. It was a pretty even matchup, but he just had the chocolates.
I think that was part of he was half injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're different players, aren't they? Like TDK's got a great leap, good around the ground, probably better mark than X around the ground. I think that's fair. Probably better forward craft too, but he can't bruise and he'll run a bit scared of X. That's why he's got his big brother Pitney in there to try and help him.
Then the midfield battle, like just to reiterate, it's so important. As Carlton, they're not a great transition side. They're a side that really likes to win it out of the contest. And they're easily opened up if they don't. They don't hold width all that well at the stoppage. And there's a great segment on AFL 360 that you sent in by Horse and Simo.
Yep.
Detailing how important it is. And it was a great way to tie into what we spoke about last pod about how if one chain breaks in the
one link in the chain.
System.
Yeah, it was absolutely. So that's worth watching. It was on 360 and we were only talking about it last pod and it popped up.
Yeah, the producers are listening.
Well, they must. No, I'm not saying that, but they probably should be.
So let's have a look at that midfield battle. We know who's going to be in there for us. LDU, Tommy Powell, Georgie Wardlaw, Jiza and Harry against Chera, Hewitt, Cripps and Chincotta, who's been playing as a tagger. And I think he probably goes to LDU, particularly with what they would have seen he do in the first quarter last week against Freo. I reckon that's the logical move. But just looking, they've got a lot of bigger bodies. You've got your Hewitt, you've got Cripps, obviously, who's the hybrid 194 midfielder.
He's key position size, Cripps.
Yeah,
you got to watch him when he goes forward too.
And
so
then,
I think LDU's got to try and go to him. I've got a feeling that happened last time. Did LDU has been tagged, but he tried to stand Cripps and get that, 2-on-1 and then free up whoever's on Chincotta.
My memory's not that. Memory's good, but it's not that good.
Yeah, well, that's certainly happened when we played them in the past, whether it was like Good Friday or not. They had the ball most of Good Friday, so who knows.
Then have a look at the defensive side of things. We've sort of talked about the keys, but have a look at their smalls. They've got your Fogarty, Motlop, Orazio, Fantasia, and as we mentioned a bit earlier, we were absolutely killed by their smalls last time. Look, Corey Durden kicked 4, White kicked 3, and he'd never even heard of the bloke. Got picked out of the VFL about 5 weeks before.
Yep.
So it's so important that we lock down there. I think Zach Williams is probably their lead one, and I think Hardiman probably gets that job.
Yeah, well, Hardiman didn't play, obviously, that game, did he?
No.
Good Friday? Don't think he did, and Arch didn't play because he would have been suspended.
Yeah.
Not that he's playing tomorrow, but I'm just saying that we're probably lacking the small backs to go with them. I can't remember who played, but yeah, they're going to be mosquito fleetish, aren't they? And certainly if Curnow doesn't play, they're not going to have great they're not going to have their A1 forwards, tall forwards. So it's something to watch. But I think we're playing better as a defensive unit now than we were then.
Oh.
And we're obviously playing better football as a whole team. But I think the defence has risen.
If Charlie Curnow doesn't play, that forward line is no good.
Yeah.
And and with the way we've been defending and the way they've, even with Charlie, haven't been able to score, if we give up 80 plus, if Curnow doesn't play, it's serious alarm bells.
Yeah.
But I think whenever Cripps goes forward, Elmac seems a logical one for me.
Well, he's probably the tallest of the smaller, medium defenders, and obviously the stronger body, but he'll outmark anyone. Cripps, he's pretty good above his head, one-on-one, sneaking forward.
Yeah. And I think if Curnow doesn't play, he'll probably spend more time forward.
He'll have
so
to, I reckon.
That'll be a watch as well. Then having a look at our forward line, Wiedering usually gets the Larky matchup.
He will.
JD and Zerha, they'll get the second and third talls in Haynes and Silvani, who we mentioned before. But then that leaves the big hole. And I've been looking at that list trying to figure out, I don't know who they're going to send to Paul Curtis. Is it a Ollie Hollands? Is it a Sard?
Well, still, please be Sard, because just straight to the cage. He'd arm curl him left arm, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd just be way too strong for him.
And that's where we can look to explode. So I'm even thinking, we were speaking on the last pod about our favourite number 20s, and I mentioned when we were talking about Drew Petrie, how quite often he'd play a team role and be the decoy to create space for the other forwards and take the best back out. That's something we could look at this weekend. I mean, Larky, not in great form against one of the premier defenders in the competition. Could he play a bit higher up the ground or get to space to drag Wiedering out and allow PC or Zerha to get those one-on-ones that we can exploit?
Yes, he could. Yes, that'll work. I don't mind.
Would you do it then?
Yeah, I'd do it. Because Wiedering's their gun in the back line. So, I mean, the rest of them... Oh, Silvani's been in good form, but the rest of them have been below their normal.
Haynes is ancient. He's a dinosaur.
Yeah, but he has improved, but he started off terribly in the start of the year. Sard's been out of form. Not that he's the defender, he's more your run-off and user. So I reckon Costanti will probably try and clamp him. But if he ends up on a PC or a Zerha, just straight one-on-one, isolate, kick the ball long and direct to them. That'll outmark him.
And we know Darling's so good at holding his width as well and creating space for other forwards and doing those selfless 1% things that...
Yeah. Do you reckon Silvani go to Darling? I haven't looked at it because you...
No, I think Silvani will probably go to Zerha. Okay. I think Haynes will probably go to Darling.
Oh, Haynes and Darling, yeah. I think to the old people say on each other.
Well, I think Silvani might, but I think they might
sense.
be worried about JD's huge shoulders.
Yeah.
Because Silvani's more your gangly sort of operator, isn't he? He doesn't spend too much time in the gym, I wouldn't have thought. But,
if he is, he's looking in the mirrors.
Yeah. So, that'll be an interesting one. But it's time for Baz's big call.
Okay.
And I'm saying, on the back of all this, that I think this week, PC and Cam combined for 6+.
Okay, so all that ramble actually led somewhere.
It did, for once.
Yeah.
For once, there's a bit of structure.
Nice. 6+.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Let's get to...
Yeah, I notice, no wonder all the swagger men, who PC, Zoo...
And Elvis, who's in a bit of strife.
And Elvis, who's in the twos and in a moon boot, unfortunately. They're all forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your big call most weeks is about people kicking goals. Well, I think that tells us a lot about you. You like the glamour side of the footy. You're not an in and under, hard-working, just 100% all the time, like maybe another club that we may mention on this. You're more about the look at me, I'll kick a sausage roll for you, which is fine because at the end of the day, the more goals you kick, all you got to do is kick more than the opposition. There's lots of different ways to do that, but you like the 20 goal plus.
There is a young defender we're looking at the Swagger Club who seems to be putting out some good stuff on the socials, but he hasn't really done it on field yet. I just want to give him time to develop. But he might
can't rush these things.
He might have the nickname Stiffy. That's a little secret.
On the socials. I'm not on the socials, so I miss all that unless you show me.
And
well, I'm not going to type in Stiffy on the socials. I don't think that'll work out well for me.
Especially not at work.
No, not on the work computer. Yeah.
Oh dear.
It'll be no come Monday.
That's gone off the show. I love it. Right, let's get our predictions in then. What's your margin? Who's winning?
North by 20 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go North by 17. So very similar.
Yeah, I just want to win. Like, I'll take a 1 point win, but by all rights, and I'm not. It sounds like we're underrating Carlton. Like, I think most people had them top 8.
Pretty sure we both had them top 4.
Oh, I was going to say if not top 4, but then they haven't produced this year. They're beaten up on the lower clubs, and which unfortunately we are, but we're playing better than that. And it's time we took a bit of a scalp, and with Harry out and Curnow question mark, it's time to take them. Taken to the cleaners.
Yeah, and Walsh out, who's the best spread midfielder.
Yep.
And it's also worth mentioning, it's also worth mentioning we're playing them on the bigger G, which we play well.
Yeah, we played the big ground at Optus Stadium last week, and the G, we don't get a lot of chances at the G, and it's a home of finals. If it's a home of football, but it's definitely the home of finals. So once again, let's see which of our players will stand up.
And just on Walsh as well, and talking about the spread, like that, the Carlton midfield, the knock on them is a bit one-paced, so we can really get to work in that area as well.
Yeah, well, their midfield smashed us Good Friday. I hate having to keep going back to that, but that is the most recent meeting.
Yeah.
But hopefully, as you said, they've all remembered it and all still scarred by it and come out and rectify it.
Right, let's move on. So it's episode 121 today, so our favourite player to wear the number 21, Guernsey. Just a gentle reminder, it's not the best, it's our favourite. So to our listeners, put that in the comments section. Let us know who your favourite number 21 is.
Or you can drop us a voice message if you're a long-time boner.
Yeah.
Or even a short-time boner.
Yeah, so now feel free to keep sending the voicemails in. Our listeners aren't wanting to get their voice out. They like the written text form a bit more than getting the voice out.
Yeah, we get lots of written stuff, but yeah, the voicemail will be good.
Yeah. Right, so Corey Jones. We've both chosen Corey Jones.
Yeah, I love Corey. Loved him.
Before we get there, I just want to reiterate this story, so I apologise if anyone's listened to every pod, because I told this story last year, but I think it was 2009. I ran out with the boys.
Yes.
Down at, well, not down, here at UTAS Stadium.
UTAS, yep.
And
we were playing
Hawthorn.
Yes, North Hawthorn.
And so I ran out.
Well, hang on. You ran out because someone got off their arse and actually rang the club and organised for his kids. Don't need to mention names.
Just give yourself a big pat on the back.
Father of the Year stuff there.
That was very good.
We're in the change rooms and good on the club for organising that, but I don't think they really passed it on to the players because before you get to your bit of the story, Boomer was captain, he ran out and we were standing there at the end of the race on the club inside and they all ran out and sort of gave you a bit of a high five and I'm thinking, well, actually you're meant to be taking you out, but I don't think that had been passed on properly. But then Corey Jones saw you and took you, and it was your sister as well, and ran out with both of you. Like said, come on kids, out you go. And I've never forgotten that because Corey at the time was struggling to hold his spot in the team. So I thought, good on you. You could have been just worried about your own performance, but he saw two little kids there whose lips were starting to drop a bit because they weren't getting to run out, and he took you out.
Yeah, what a man. What a man.
Anyway, you go. Oh, sorry, I interrupted your story.
No, that was good. I didn't know. I actually didn't know that. I learned at the same time as the listeners. But yes, so guess how I rewarded him. So we ran out, you run into the 30 out and think you can kick that at about 11 or whatever I was.
30 metres out from goal. Yeah. You had the ball. You had a bounce on the
turf.
Took the risk.
Yeah,
it came back.
Did work better for me than LDU last week. Yes. And then I ran in and thought, I'll slot this. And guess what? I kicked it to the top of the goal square and hit poor Corey in the back of the head. So after all that, he probably thought, these bloody kids.
Where's the karma? He's thinking, I did a nice thing and now I've got a concussion.
Yes, but he was my favourite player to wear the number 21 as well, and just a really important player for us during the 2000s, undersized, 188, but found the...
Took a great mark, kick a goal. I think his best was 7. I think did he kick 7 at UTAS? Maybe not that game, but a previous game.
Yeah,
I know he kicked the bag. And I'm pretty sure, winding the memory back a lot, but I'm pretty sure in Archer's 250th up at the SCG, he kicked the snag to win it from the boundary line.
I might have to get on
I'm pretty
YouTube.
sure he kicked it. I think Sav might have kicked it to him. And, we came storming home because it was Archer, the great man, and we were getting well beaten by the Swans up in Sydney. And came back and pinched it, won it for the great Archer, and I'm pretty sure he kicked one from the boundary.
Yeah, right.
To
I'll
seal it.
have to Google that after. But so he's our choice. Let us know yours. But I want to give a shout out to Elmac as well. Obviously started in the number 21.
Yes.
And a great stall soldier for this football club.
Mm.
And as you have a big drink there, just in the middle of the sentence when I
Sorry.
throw to you, but gee, we're going well today. How are we going?
Well, we're not going that well, and I'm a bit uncomfortable. We're doing it at your house, and it's a bit of an away game for me. I'm just not up to my usual. I'm a bit uncomfortable. The chair's a bit squeaky, and anyway, we'll soldier on because you don't give up.
Yeah, and Jai Simpkin also wore the 21, I believe. I'm near certain on that he wore the 21 as well.
Yes.
Before moving to Lindsay's 12.
Yes.
Right, before we finish up, let's get into the tipping. Before I go to Media Street as well, I should have mentioned that at the start, but taking on the media.
All right, you're coming off the long run, apparently.
I am, but let's get the footy tips in first. So,
okay.
Freo and Essendon are playing. They've already started quarter time at 3-2 to 2-2. Fremantle up. Who are you tipping?
Oh, Freo.
Or who did you tip?
Freo.
Yeah, same for me. Geelong and Brisbane, Friday night.
Geelong
for mine. We've both tipped the Kangas. Port and Sydney.
Oh, that was tough. I think that's in Adelaide, so I went Port.
I think I've gone Sydney.
Guys, that still don't rate Sydney.
They got Errol back.
Apparently they're the best corridor team in the league, though, if you ask Clark. I'm never going to get over that,
No,
sorry,
neither.
Clark, until we beat them.
Collingwood and St Kilda.
Collingwood, easily.
Same for mine. The Expansion Cup, Giants and the Suns.
I think I went the Giants only because it's their home ground, but I know they haven't been in great form.
Yeah, Tabby's back. Giants win.
Okay.
And the Dogs and Tigers to close out.
Oh, well, do we need to? We'll make it official and say the Dogs.
Yeah,
Is
right.
Darcy playing?
Yep.
Is Bolter playing?
Oh, it's a day game, so it would be.
No, he's no
allowed
curfew.
out.
Well, Darcy might only kick 6. If Bolter wasn't playing, I was going to give him a dozen, I reckon.
Right, so let's talk Tassie. We said at the end of the last pod that we're going to bring this up today, so I want to talk about it and all the roof discussion, all the socials from 7AFL talking about how cold it was.
At UTAS last
UTAS
week.
last
Let the
week.
listeners know, we were sitting there in the stand with our Tassie tuxedo, the puffer jacket, and I wore a beanie, and I never wear a beanie, but we were sitting there, and actually, I was quite fine.
It was fine.
I was warm. I was comfortable.
I'll tell you the difference.
Because you actually dressed to the winter conditions, because it's a winter sport.
It's a lot colder at the G when the wind gets going, let me tell you that.
It was colder at the G when we went last year and watched North play Melbourne.
Yeah.
It was colder at the G then.
But anyway, I don't want to knock the G, because
No,
it's a winter sport, as
it
you
is a
said.
winter sport.
And the funny thing was, as soon as I looked at it at quarter time, our man, the Frog, had commented the picture by picture that Melbourne was about 0.4 of a degree warmer. So,
Yeah.
wow, huge difference.
I think Channel 7 put on the socials that it was 5.3 degrees at quarter time at UTAS Stadium. And obviously it was dewy, so it became a bit of a wet weather game. And then the Frog responded that it was 6 degrees in Melbourne. So it was 0.7 degrees.
Or
different.
0.7 it was in the end. But yeah,
Just to be factually correct, that was the go. And both teams were quite set up well defensively. We were sitting behind the goals, and it's a great look at how they structure up when you sit behind the goals. We normally sit on the wing, a bit more high roller down the boot park in the top deck of the Ponting stand. But,
although, to be fair, some of those boot park games you can choose where you want to sit, basically.
well, you can. Yes. No, it was good watching from behind the goals. Anyway, what was the point? It became it was slippery because the dew came down. It's a wet weather game. It was a night game
But I want to
in
talk
the middle
about
of winter.
the media and how every single show, I reckon there's conspiracy theories going left, right and centre, but there's definitely been a narrative pushed down to the shows to bring it up, to try and encourage the roof, I think. And my great comparison is, right, I'm a big NFL man.
Yes.
The Buffalo Bills, and this happens actually at a lot of stadiums, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and in New York, it's cold, in Philly, and anywhere on the east, basically, in winter.
Well, yeah.
And what they do is, the fans come out and start shoveling up the snow before the game.
So they don't have a roof.
They don't have a roof, they sit in the snow.
The snow comes in. I've seen lots of highlights where it's just played in the snow.
You can't see the games.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we're complaining because it's 5 degrees and a bit
And
chilly.
what's the difference in the salary cap with an NFL team and a start-up Tassie team, or the salary cap's the same for every team?
Well, the Bill's owner's
Although-
only worth about a couple of freaking bill,
Yeah.
and his daughter's a superstar tennis player too.
Ah, yes. Anyway, so
Got a bit off track there, but
We have.
my point is that it's a winter sport, and they need to stop acting like babies, basically.
well, I'd like to know why. I'll talk about it on the ABC radio, right? The ABC's paid by the taxman. It's normally not as hysterical after ratings as other radio stations. But they were talking about it, and then they were arguing that like Ballarat's colder. And then one of them said, but yeah, if the game's at Ballarat and it starts raining or it gets too cold, there's another stadium with a roof, meaning Marvel. How often have they moved a game from Ballarat to Marvel? They won't even move from the MCG to Marvel.
Once they've done it this year, actually, but that's
Did
only
they?
because the Ballarat game, there's no seats because they're redoing it.
Yeah, but they're not going to do it because of the weather.
No, they
They're
haven't.
not going to have everything set up and then say, oh, gee, it's a bit cold now. We'll move to
Get on the
Marvel.
bus.
Yeah, get on the bus, everyone, to Marvel. So and another point is like North Queensland or even Brisbane. Earlier in the year, it's dewy there because of the weather. They play a night game. It's just a fact. And yet...
Oh, gee, I thought you were about to drop the magic
No, it's just a fact. I remember when we played round one
in Cairns.
in Cairns, and it was we're playing in a lake because North Queensland, AFL organised that. I think that might have been because the Commonwealth Games was on that year, so they couldn't get access to their stadium at Carrara. But anyway, round one, well, let's play North Queensland in March. My God, and it probably cost Benny Brown a Coleman.
It did.
Because he didn't get the key goal, because I think it was like 5 goals to 4 or something, because they're playing in a foot of water. But they don't need a roof. I don't know why we need a roof down here when it's a winter sport. A roof would be fantastic, don't get me wrong, but the cost.
Yeah, and the hysteria around it.
And once you put a roof on it, you put the lid on, they've capped it at 23,000 stadium, put a lid on it. We've got 200,000. Tassie have got 200,000 members. Well, yes, I understand it's only a $10 sticker, but it's over 200,000 members they've got. What happens when they play a final down here against Collingwood, and they think they can get 40,000 in it? How do you make it bigger when it's got a roof on? It's going to cost you $2 billion to take the roof off, build it up, and then put it back on. And places like Geelong, a mate of mine who's from Geelong, he's moved over here to work, works in the same office as me, says it's freezing at Geelong for a night game down near the water.
Yeah, it'll be exactly the same.
My point is they didn't have to put a roof on. They've made their stadium 35,000.
Well,
There's no roof.
Just on Geelong, they've had about 18 stadium refurbishes as well.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a North Melbourne podcast. Let's forget about the Tassie Stadium, but we just had to have a little rant because it came in as a question, did it?
No.
I
just wanted to talk about it.
You just wanted to talk about it. Well, because of the media hype. Yes. We're in Media Street, yeah. Media outrage. There was a wet weather game in Tassie.
Yes, and I know people...
It's against Fremantle last week when we were playing. It rained in the second quarter. We had to deal with it. They didn't say, well, we need a roof here.
Temporary stop the game. Get one built.
Anyway, that's enough.
That's enough.
Calm the Kangas.
And with media as well, I know people will be wondering if we're going to speak on Kane Corn. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard about taking Cadman over Sheasel and Wardlaw. So I'm not even going to give it any more airtime than that. But
what did you say that on?
One of his 15 shows. It was the one on AFL.com first up.
So no one watches that.
No,
anymore.
exactly. But thanks again for tuning in. We got off topic a lot in this pod, but we'll be back to really crack down in an in-depth analysis after hopefully a big win Saturday against the Blues. It's such an important game for this club and our ability to take the next step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at... Well, I've got the fixture in front of me for the rest of the year, but I expect us to be very competitive, win more than we lose.
Win more than we lose.
Well,
That's
take out Geelong, who we play, and the Bulldogs. Who else do we play is tough?
Hawthorn down here.
No, we'll beat them. No,
no chance.
I'll be looking... We just got to win some games. Like this Carlton game is a must-win for me. We've gone close against Port Adelaide, Essendon,
Brisbane.
Freo. Like, it's time to win.
I agree.
Yeah, so to take the next step, we've got to start winning these. And the only two I think that are out of our reach at the moment are Geelong and the Bulldogs.
And Hawthorn.
No, don't agree.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we've got them in a fortnight and they'll be well rested because we'd have played 2 games since they played Adelaide.
No,
Adelaide should have beaten them. We were both at that game. Adelaide played a lot better than Hawthorn, but Hawthorn seemed to get the old 2013, 14, 15 whistle after half time. But, yeah.
And
anyway.
Adelaide decided that they couldn't kick unless it was my man Keezer. No one could kick in front of goal.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, we're getting way off topic. Thanks again for tuning in. And we'll be back to do our usual review after hopefully a big win on Saturday.
Yep. Calm the Kangas.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, go Roos!
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.